Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are talking to you guys about, well, put a ring on it. The interview with Charlie and Otis is a post interview we're doing. We're doing a kind of breakdown of what we thought about that to show a few more people will join us a little bit later on to come and give their say. But for now, it's going to be me and Sean breaking it down, and then we'll have Jay a little bit later on as well. I'm sure a few others will join us as the night goes on. But listen, if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor: like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification to uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. All right, cool. Sean, let me get you involved in this conversation straight away. I don't want to waste much time. You know, I've spoken quite a bit already on this. I can already see somebody already said this is the person who they wanted to see. Straight, direct, and to the point. Sir, talk to us, Sean. Your initial thoughts on what you thought about this interview concerning Charlie Notice.
I'm just gonna be honest and come to the front of the altar, to the front of the church. We had a little conversation backstage, right? And I'm a work to be objective, bro. But listen, Charlie was looking good, so I wasn't fully paying attention, but I was paying attention. So just forgive me. Hold me accountable in the chat. If I'm slipping off, if I'm showing a bias, hold me accountable.
I hear you, bro. I hear you,
She had
bro.
them
I hear
heels
you.
on too, bro. Oh man, whew.
You know
She
you
was
like a little hill now.
you know what that does to me. So she's using dark arts to keep our commentary from being too spicy.
Trust me indeed, bro. Trust me indeed, fam. She was looking beautiful. I can't lie to you, bro. Talk to us, bro. Talk to us.
So
What's
yeah,
your thoughts?
listen, I think that they took the budget rate class on PR, right?
Mm,
And how to spin a message, but they need to get a refund because clearly, one, they didn't get good instructions on how to, sell us on a message. And two, they wasn't on the same page, and I think it just showed that look, you can fool yourself, but trying to fool other people and yourself at the same time, it's too much work. That's why honesty just always, it just works out being honest, because it just shows your body tells on you, your facial expressions, everything you start to just show all these tells. And it was just rampant throughout their interview. All the different tells where they were just really not on the same page, so unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think after the breakdown and everything, I think when you watch it, you're like, what's going on here? Like you're wondering how can you guys change the narrative so much? Like I thought, I've done some interviews with Ready to Love, and I thought to myself, some people have pulled some worldies, but this was intergalactic Thanos. Like you're actually readdressing history in terms of what you saw. You know what I mean? Like in terms of obviously, the your um go and have a shower situation and stuff like that. You're like, did we see it right? Are we blind? Maybe we misheard what you said. You know what I mean? What was your kind of thoughts to that aspect of things in terms of some of the comments they made around and saying that it wasn't actually necessarily the way it was editing in a sense.
So look, you know how I feel about the editing stuff with anybody. It's like
Mm,
they if you didn't say it, if you didn't do it, they wouldn't have it to
mm,
put on the cutting room floor, right? So yes, could we get a different perspective if they cut and splice some things? But if we are now lining up behavior that we've seen as a trend and then looking at different key points, it's very difficult to see that it is a total 180 from the person that's actually there, right? We never in the history of ever have we seen somebody on one of these reality shows show up one way and we were all over them and they were like the complete antithesis of
mm,
what we thought, right? Sometimes we could be swayed a little bit here, a little bit there. Oh wow, I get to see a different aspect of them, but it's never like, oh my god, they're totally different than what the
mm.
show made them out to be. So that's kind of where I land with that. And I think the whole shower thing, what I've noticed with a couple of these, some of these reality stars, we'll call them,
Mm.
use that term loosely. Um, what they do is I really think they look at social media. So they look at what Twitter is saying, they look at what Reddit is saying, they look at what people are talking about them on YouTube, they look at what people are saying on IG, all over the place, and then they come up and they try to readdress history, and they try to like come up with a reasonable explanation for the thing that they did that was coming off outlandish. And I think that's exactly what that shower scene was about. Maybe, just maybe, it wasn't his intent to be so kind of like vile with the commentary about the whole shower thing. You know, sometimes you just shoot off your mouth and you don't realize, like, oh shoot, there's cameras around and this is going to sound a little bit crazy when it falls through other people's ears. So maybe, just maybe, he didn't mean it that horribly. Maybe I'll say maybe, right? However, you look worse when you like try to say, well, no, it's the thing that when he said regular couples say that, like, you know, just go take a shower and cool off and let the steam. I'm like, bro, what? Like, how did you, like, what? That wasn't even, they weren't even having that kind of conversation, right? Like, in the scene, it wasn't a moment like, oh, she's getting hyped and he's trying to calm her down. No, you were the one that was hyped. You needed to take a shower and let the steam cool you off. So if that's what you wanted to do, then that's would have been, the message would have been for yourself, not for her. So that whole thing was like, come on, it's bogus, it's malarkey, it's a lie, it's all of those things. So I don't know why he did that. JJ.
Sorry, I'm trying to get off of mute. Yes, Sean, agree. Baby, Sean came in hot and heavy and said everything that it was, because that's what it was. You was malarkey, you was on the bull, and you gaslighting. But the only person gaslighting is Charlie in this instance. Like, why are you playing with us? The baby even know you're lying. Like, come on now. Like, that's why the baby over here kicking and flipping. Like, come on, daddy, you playing with us too daggone much right now. Like, I give Crystal mad credit, because I don't think I could sit through the BS and just really be like, okay, yeah. I couldn't go with it too long. Like, come on, bro. Like, we seen it and we knew how Charlie took it. We knew that how everybody else took that information. We took that information. It was like, you're implying she's dirty. I don't care what part of the argument it was. That was the implication. You didn't say, hey, you know what? Dinner's about to be ready right now. Just go ahead, go get ready for dinner, wash yourself down, you know what I'm saying? Do your usual routine, whatever it is you do, so we can sit down and have dinner, because this conversation's going nowhere. We just seen it with Rodney, right? We just seen that, how he shut it down when she was drunk. He didn't go tell her, go take a shower, you're drunk. He didn't tell Shamari that. So, like, come on, Otis. You knew what you meant by that. So you're going to sit here and try to tell us all that you didn't mean that she was dirty after you got through being a fool with the flowers, told her she can't have the salmon or the leftovers because you told her that the man should have fed her. And then last thing you said was go take a shower. I don't know what else we were supposed to get from that. What part of the conversation that we missed that made it seem like it was something else? So to cut out all your pleasantries. Okay. Dr. Nicole even took it the way we all took it and repeated it back to him in that moment. And we got to remember their whole reason for being there is because Charlie hears one thing and he's saying another thing, but clearly he's saying one thing and he means another thing in his head. But that one thing he's saying is the wrong thing. Off top. Baby, I don't know. Sean, you was on a good one. You had it, though.
Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, the only thing, too, is, I mean, I'm struggling with what I'm about to say, but and this is how you know I'm being objective, right? Because I already led with the fact that, you know, Charlie's gorgeous, right? But I think she's complicit in it. I think I don't really think Charlie's a victim. I just think, like you were saying earlier in the other live, Jay, like just Otis keeps going off script because Charlie is the one driving it. I think it's Charlie driving it. She's covering Otis, but I think she got stuff to cover too, because we saw they were just doing the petty ping pong with each other. So I just feel like these are two of a kind. They just look a little different. They just look a little different. But I think they're in it. It's just, and that's why when he lies, she knows. It's not like it's new information for her. When he lies, she knows, and she can't hide it, because she's like, bro, what? what? She almost looked at me like, bro, what? Where they do that at? That's like what her face and her body and her everything is saying. She knows. But this brother, my I have my jokes. My little light-skinned beige rage brother, he just can't help himself. I think he's like, he thinks he's got something because Charlie is like going along with his foolishness, letting him get away with a couple little things. All right, you could DM her, you can have your little stupid fun. It's not going anywhere. Do it, right? Go ahead, go for it. I'll cover you, because I don't want us to look fake and phony and stupid in these streets, because if you look stupid, I'm going to look dumb in the process. So I got you, but just settle down. And then here he go. He want to talk his talk, right? So he's like perched up. Oh, I got my Gucci shirt on tonight with my loafers, my ankles out. So I'm going to show out and kick up dust. Bro, you just calm down. You got a real one that's willing to sign on for the foolishness together with the both of you. Just settle down. And every time he tries to like pipe up with another lie, another spin story that does not seem rooted in facts at all, Charlie's like, whoa, bro. You didn't clear this with me. So that's how I see the two of them.
It was the part where like I wanted to do it just now while you was talking shot and just have a conversation with Kojo like she was having with Crystal, and he kept trying to have his moment because he kept trying to go on with his point. But yeah, so like I'm saying, when you trying to communicate with somebody but they not really communicating, but they not communicating. That's what it was. It's like you stopped and let them continue talking, but you came right back to the same point. So you got a script. And you just so pressed that I got to say this. It's because I've been working on this piece for the longest. This is my monologue right here. Y'all got to hear me out. This is me. And like she said in the show, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. And the sad part about it, after this interview, I almost want to give Kenneth a little bit more growth credit than Otis. And at this part, Charlie, because it's like, girl, okay, I'll let you gaslight us at the thing and put your cape on for your man at the reunion, but you still got it on right now. Your best bet was just to sit on the side and just be quiet, put your bonnet on and just be quiet and just, yeah, whatever he said, yeah, But you want to sit on the side and you want to put up, like, Milan is not his type. Milan look just like you. She's from Cali too. So I don't know how much more not his type she is. You want to say she born and all this stuff. We seen them text messages. He looked like the born one in them texts. I got bored reading them texts. I don't know. Like, stop. You know your man is a plumb fool. So at this point, I'm starting to believe Milan when she say that Otis said they came on here with a plan. And unfortunately, in the middle of this plan, we got pregnant.
So true.
It's giving me last season's Alexis and Dorian 2.0. What are we doing?
But interestingly enough, I'm wondering if, remember when Charlie made that comment during the season and she was like, because Otis wants to have babies right away. I wonder, was that comment before or after she was pregnant?
After. If that was the last if that was a late, what's those called? What them things they do? I forgot that fast. Confessional or whatever. And they were sitting together at it, so I assume that's going to be a later one. She already knew she was pregnant by that time. She kind of gave it away in the reunion when she said, "Oh, I don't remember saying that." It's like, okay.
Did they plan it or not? That's the question. Did they plan this birth, this little baby or not? That's the question. They said no, but
one of them did.
That's my thing. One of them did. Maybe Charlie didn't. But
Well, look, they're grown. Nobody's a kid, so they can't be surprised. It's like, how did it happen, right? It's not like, it was clear that there was no birth control in place. It wasn't like the birth control failed. I'm sure there was protection on nobody's side. So surprised maybe that, it actually happened, because, every time you have unprotected sex doesn't mean you're going to have a baby. So maybe that was the surprise, but you shouldn't be completely surprised, because you're doing the things that's going to lead to a baby coming into play. So.
You ain't lied, bro. You ain't lied. What was your thoughts in regards to? Let me go to my notes. What was your thoughts in regards to the fact that pregnancy was used as a reason as to why she was acting up during the whole season?
Get your cap, Sean. Get your caps.
Right. Do I have one over here?
You
I
must
don't know.
do.
I have to get it in a little bit. I got rid of it, because that's cap, just like throw caps in the chat, because that's cap city. That is cap city. Like, come on. Like, really?
It's the capital of caps. Like, it's so confusing, because you didn't know you were pregnant towards the end, but the dates were still going on, but you didn't want to go on no more dates because you were pregnant. Like, I'm at this point, I need a timeline on when this was filmed, because I have to start doing some calculations on some stuff too. Like, come on, did you get pregnant during filming? Because that was what you said. You got pregnant during filming. And granted, this, and everybody is different, so I'm not going to speak for everybody, but my morning sicknesses and stuff didn't kick in until literally a month later. That means I was already pregnant for a whole month before they actually kicked in, before I even got signed to go say, uh-oh, let me go check. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know. Some people get it a little sooner. Now, you might go through the phase where you have a miss womanhood cycle. You might miss that. And so that might be your first indicator. But she was making it seem like the nausea and all this stuff like that hit her. And usually that, for most people, I'm not going to say all, because everybody's pregnancy is different, but most of the time that's not until a month, a couple of weeks, or at least later. So I don't know. I'm really trying to calculate that part. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it's just like, it's giving me a Phaedra Parks. A whole thing. Like, if you know Housewives, it's giving me a whole Phaedra Parks vibe right now. Like, you don't know what day your baby was conceived. You don't know what month the baby born. Like, what's happening? So I don't know. People in the chat
right now.
I mean, I didn't know that pregnancy hormones was I know I've heard of sympathy pregnancy. Listen, I mean, I get that part, but like, how does that explain Otis? Like, so even if we'll go with her story, right? We were going through some things. It was hormonal. Okay, I get it. I'm not a woman. I don't know all the things that a woman's body goes through prior to pregnancy, during pregnancy, all of that, right? So let's put that on the table. But like, what does that have to do with Otis? And I think that's just an example of, you want to like put a shiny object in my face and distract me so my vision is blurry, so that I'm not focusing on what really needs to be focused on, because that don't have nothing to do with Otis. The only thing we as men may do is we might gain a little weight right along with you, or sometimes, if you're a little cranky, it might, put us on edge. But outside of that, like, she wasn't even that far along to get there, right? So, and he don't look like he gained any weight. I mean, I don't know. He don't look like he gained any pregnancy weight. So, like, where's the empathy? Where's how he was impacted? I'm not seeing it. I think it's a lie. I think, like, they want to take the focus off of Otis because of all the things that are being said about his behavior. So it's like, let's put this out here. People love pregnancies. People love that. So it just makes everybody celebrate, which we should, right? But ultimately, the accountability still needs to shift back to Otis and his behavior, because it's just going to keep showing up in different ways. It's not going to stop if he doesn't acknowledge what he's done.
The only thing Otis got in this pregnancy is pregnancy brain. Why he want to play like we done forgot what was said and done on his behalf. Like, okay, all right, sir, you gonna take that from her? All right. You know what? And I'm not trying to be funny. I said it in the last live or whatnot, but it's like, really, I really feel bad, and I really pray for the baby, because these are your parents. I hate to say it like that, but it's the both of them. It's not just one. You know, it's the both of them. And I mean, I give him this. I praise them for being a team, at least for this child's sake. But it scares me because they're both petty. And sometimes when you have petty people like this, the baby becomes a pond.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping does not happen in this case. I'm really hoping that they both shape up. But because of this interview, how it's going, I see where Charlie wants to actually stop it. But the problem is when you're stuck in that cycle, the other person doesn't want to stop.
It's too difficult. It's difficult.
You like eventually just have to walk away from it. And I kind of wish the walk away would have happened before the pregnancy, but he got her. Or whoever decided. Yeah, whoever decided on this pregnancy got him.
That's literally it. I mean, these two are just full-time tit for tat specialists who never solved their issue. I mean, they came on the show, and that's another thing that's really, concerning. They came on the show to have a mediator in Dr. Nicole. They knew who Dr. Nicole was, what she was about, knew that the show, you're going to date people. We're in the 3rd season. So to get to a point where you get on the show and then we don't actually solve the issues that we're actually talking about, because that was the issue, was you had issues of communication. I don't remember you guys solving the issue of communication. So there was no growth for you two because you never solved the issue. You know what I mean? And you came on the show to have those kind of conversations, but then you shut her down when she's now checking you, Otis. It's like, well, then did you really come on the show for Dr. Nicole? I mean, if you wanted a therapist, you could have booked one. You wanted a relationship counselor, you could have booked one. You want a marriage counselor, could have booked one. Like, you didn't need to come on the show. Like, none of it's adding up. You didn't need to come on the show to come and try and tell you something, and then you wouldn't even listen anyway. What was the point?
Yeah, it'd been better if you paid for it, because you probably would have listened.
Yeah.
Because now you're spending your money, but you wanted the free therapy. Fix her. That's really what it was. Because you're even on Crystal's thing, like, Crystal's not a therapist. You're trying to still get her fixed. By the end of the thing, like, what are we doing right now? Pay for your therapy and apply it if you really want the help. Because that's why we pay for it, for the accountability of actually doing it. There's free therapy everywhere. Your friends, his dad was free therapy. You got people around your life. You can talk to married people for free therapy. But the problem is when you don't apply what they're telling you, it's pointless. So, like, go pay for it. Go pay for some real counseling. Because maybe then you'll actually say, you know what, at least let me get my money's worth. Let me see if they really worth the money that I'm spending on them. Let me try these things. But I don't see him wanting to be better, and I don't see her wanting to move on. She's happy with it, and he's happy with him.
Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, I guess what I see in Otis, at least, from the times when he's kind of talked a little bit about some of the challenges that they've had, I think he feels like if he admits he's wrong, it's like he's flawed, or it makes him a bad person. And he doesn't, and then the petty side is like, oh, I don't want to lose, right? And then it's like, well, but she did that, right? I might have done this, but she did that, right? I might have told her to go take a shower, I might have thrown her flowers in the garbage, but she shouldn't have brought the flowers home. that's when we don't get to the root cause of what the issue is, right? Because granted, the flowers are the flowers, and she probably knew that it would get a reaction out of him, and that's why she brought it home. However, but the root cause is what? Right? Like why does she feel like she needs to get your attention? Because what did she say? She doesn't feel like he affirms her. She doesn't feel like he makes her feel good about herself. So let's address that. Yeah, she was wrong for the flowers and trying to throw it in your face because she knew what that was going to elicit. And even during the interview, when they talked about it, she laughed because that's when, you see that moment she looked at him. She was like, yeah, I know. I know I know I was wrong for that. She was like, and if you bring some woman's cologne home and you spray it on you, yeah, we gonna have a problem, right? So they could agree that was just petty wars, but you got to dig deeper if you want to be in a real relationship, a true solid relationship, and say, well, what's causing me to do that? Right? It's not your fault, but what is she looking for from you? And I think he's scared. He's scared because it means I'm not doing what I should be doing. Right? And that's okay, because she's missing too. And you ain't got to be the perfect man, and you don't have to be, the man that gets it right the first time. But if she's telling you this is what I need, and this is what you're not doing, and I'm gonna debate you on what you're telling me I'm doing to you. And that's where he misses all the time, because he's afraid. He's afraid to be vulnerable and be wrong and just say, okay, how do I get better? What can I say that's going to make you feel good, Charlie? That's what I think.
Another thing I hope on too is I hope that she's not having this baby. I'm not going to say keeping, because I don't want nobody to have abortion ever, but having this baby to hope he changes, because that relationship that he's going to have with the baby is not going to be the same relationship he has with her, and it's not going to change it. He can be a great dad and all that stuff, but still be a sucky partner, and that's what I really have like this deep down feeling in my gut that they're not going to last, but I just hope they don't use this baby as a pawn in the breakup, because that's not going to be fair to the child, period. The child didn't ask to be here, and if you don't want to shape up yourself now and been doing this work in these past 7 months, which I can't really see it in this interview, I just really feel bad for the baby, because that means that you're not even taking the time to think outside of yourself enough for your child, for your future, for your legacy, to give them a nice, honest, fresh start. I heard when I heard him say, "Oh, I want to give with my parents. I have wonderful parents and all this stuff." It's like, do you? Because I could have swore on the show we got a little something different out of that, like. But okay, I'm not gonna knock anybody how they feel about their parents, because we all love our parents. But let's be honest, a lot of us, even as much as we love our parents, we want to give our children better than what we got. So we want to take what our parents gave us, plus apply whatever greatness the world gave us, and give that to our child. And I just don't see Otis being capable of doing that. And it might not happen. It might not change for him until he see the baby, he hold the baby, because that's usually the case with men. You don't get all that feeling beforehand because it's not in you. You're not carrying it. You're not bonding with it yet. But once the baby come out, the change will be there for him, but not the one Charlie wants. Because Charlie wants to change for her. And so I hope she don't have her eggs in that basket and waiting for him to change for her in that aspect, because I just don't see it.
100%. It's also quite interesting as well watching Otis, because I think Otis doesn't take correction very well. So whatever you give him, he doesn't really take it on board. And so that's why when Dr. Nicole was giving him the advice, he's saying that it's Dr. Nicole only is trying to, help the women out, because it's a women's show. But you came on the show, you didn't do your research. Like, what show you're coming on to. It's on OWN TV with a predominantly black female audience. Okay, you didn't do your research before coming on the show. You didn't think that this could be a situation. I'm not even saying Dr. Nicole even did that. I'm just saying you also didn't do your research very, very well. But I think also as well that the time where he could have been actually open and discussing the actual issue with Dr. Nicole to see how best to help himself. He ain't even do that. He's absent-minded at points, and he is blind to some of the things that he does. The lack of self-awareness is soul destroying. Some of the lack of self-awareness. You know what I mean? And and it's the fact that you're absolutely right. This pregnancy is what makes it complicated. I almost wish that if we could have seen maybe what would have happened if there was no pregnancy, because the pregnancy mashes up things considerably. Because like that can change people's mindsets, make them think a certain way. It can make them feel like they have to stay or whatever. But had that pregnancy not been there, would she have still stayed? Maybe she would have, but there might have been a bit more impetus to be able to want to leave or change the way she's operating. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, for me, he's lacking self-awareness, and it's a scary thing to kind of watch. Do you know what I mean? To see that kind of lack of self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? Go for it, Sean. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I think in this instance, I think we need Ayanla back, because I think Ayanla would know how to deal with him, and she would have leveraged a male counterpart to give him that that advice, that guidance, that mentorship that he so desperately needs. Unfortunately, I think it might be a little misogyny there with old boy Otis. I that's kind of what I'm seeing. Because he just completely discredited everything Dr. Nicole says. And, I'd be having jokes about Dr. Nicole's riddles and such, but, she does give good advice, at the end of the day, and you can pull from what she's saying. So for him to twist it around and say, well, her advice was mainly for the audience. Okay, I could see what you're saying, but you are the example that she's using and talking about your relationship, and then tailoring that to one where the audience can relate it to. But it starts with you. You're at the beginning, so don't go to the end where the audience, yes, it is getting a message, but you're also on a show, bro. You're not sitting at a therapist's couch on a one-on-one or in couples therapy. So what do you think the show is about? The show is about an audience. The show is about, there's an element of entertainment. So I think that was that was a little weak, like, come on, bro. Like, okay, maybe you didn't find any value with what she had to say, but why? Why? Oh, because you felt like she was always on Charlie's side? But why? Was she on Charlie's side because she was trying to show you things that you had done that were wrong? So she needed to show, she needed to speak to the specifics of what you were doing? Like, when you're in those therapy sessions, it's like the therapist or anybody in that counseling relationship coach role, first of all, they don't take sides. They're going to talk about the facts, right? And sometimes people's biases, do they come up? Sure. All right, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're talking about the facts of what happened. So if they're on you for a particular reason, they're on you because they're trying to help you, or they're trying to show you something that you're doing. So why not, versus just be like, oh, she's just on Charlie's side. Why not say, well, why are you on me? What is it that you're seeing? But that's only if you're open. That's only if you want to change. That's only if you want to see. But you'll dismiss and push it off if you don't want to think you're wrong, or if you don't want to see that there's an opportunity for you to do something differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that point you said where he says it's about the audience and all that stuff, but it's like, and it's geared to women. But so you're saying all the men, including Alfonso right now, because Alfonso took what she said and applied it. All the men in the past have taken what she said and has applied it, and it's worked for them. It's turned around for them. So all these men that's getting these tools that Dr. Nicole is giving them and building their new foundation with their ladies, that wasn't for them. It wasn't for them. It was for us, the audience. It was for the people that didn't come on the show didn't ask for the help, but that's all for us. Oh, okay, Otis. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, stop playing in our face. Like, she was trying to help you, but you didn't want to receive the help because you felt like you were perfect and it wasn't you that needed the help. You only needed help to get Charlie to be submissive and obey you in that way. You only wanted help to get Charlie to be complicit. You only wanted help to get Charlie to be quiet. You only wanted to help to get Charlie to do whatever it is that is okay with Otis. But you didn't want Otis to be fixed because Otis is perfect. Otis is okay. Otis is fine. There's nothing wrong with Otis. So now it's not even Otis getting the information. She's talking to the audience. Like, are you serious? Did we tell Charlie to take a shower? Did we not feed Charlie? Did we talk and text Milan? So how is she talking to us with any of this? When Alfonso wasn't telling his baby mama and his mother all this stuff, was she talking to us? Because a lot of us in this audience don't have problems telling our family what it is. But yes, like Sean, you said, she was using it as an example to talk to those they may have these problems, not all of us. And we weren't the cause of these problems, why she's able to talk about them. So how is it everybody else's fault? Production fault for this. They didn't feed you, so now you're hungry. Your hunger is a fault at that. You know, the cat ran across the room, so you couldn't pay attention to Dr. Nicole while she was speaking. You don't know where the cat came from, so the cat's fault for that. Everybody is at fault but Otis. That is a major problem. If you keep pointing all these fingers, how many of them are pointed back at you? All routes lead to Otis. You're the common denominator in it all. Like, if this is what you're gonna cheat your baby to blame the world for your problems, Jesus, man of fear, y'all got another one coming, baby. Man of fear, y'all got another one coming. And it is, and guys in the chat, it is me. I have a backup account, but I somehow got logged out my main one. So that is me. It's not an imposter.
You're good, Jay. Don't worry. You're good. Nah. Okay. So, I mean, what was your thoughts in regards to how he handled the Milan situation? Because obviously we got a little bit of an explanation in terms of how he got to that place, but wasn't really concise. And obviously as well, if I remember correctly, Charlie said on her Instagram page that they will not be explaining what happened with the Milan situation, but here we are sitting here and he's explaining the Milan situation. So what's your guys' thoughts on how he explained the Milan situation?
Just another grand deflection, another set of misrepresentations of what really happened. And I think it was just kind of like he wanted to be in a position where nothing he was saying was going to be challenged. So talking about, it was because of the show, that's why he reached out to her. What? Like, what? Where is that in your contract that you have to DM her, right? Immediately after? And we all saw the date. It was dry. Milan said it was dry from her perspective. So the math isn't adding up. The math ain't mathing, so why would you immediately get to jumping into DMs and starting to have offside conversations when on camera you're looking disinterested? So that's coming off already. You're disingenuous, right? Because you're trying to do one thing in front of the cameras and another thing behind the scenes. So it's like, again, it's another tell. He's telling on himself because he's talking about Dr. Nicole playing to the audience, but he's playing to the audience because at the end of the day, he's looking all disinterested and blah, blah, blah. Oh, he made a little silly comment about her back tattoo or whatever. But outside of that, it was all very kind of like awkward and not really, like he was really interested in her or being flirtatious. So, but behind the scenes, he's got all this extra stuff. So I don't know why he would, knowing that the DMs are out there, I don't know why he would get up there and make up that story. Maybe it was for him. I think sometimes what happens is when people get comfortable with a lie, they believe it. So they believe it so much that they expect you to believe it. But if there's evidence, it's still a lie. So that's what I think about that.
Jay, what's your thoughts on the Milan situation?
I would want to be like, oh, girl was just doing too much, but I kind of get why. And I can't even really say that I would be mad if it was because she's seen the show or parts of the show, what they said, but it's just the way he comes at the situation and addresses things. That's where I feel like most of her frustration on the reunion came from. Plus we know that some of her backstory of what she dealt with. So it's just more so of my sister's keeper situation. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel some type of way. I'm not trying to cause you any stress during your pregnancy, but I just don't know when I'm going to get another chance to tell you this truth. And to be honest, when the truth comes out in any of these situations, it's never a good time. Something is always going to be going on to keep pushing it back to make it not a good time. So for him to try to flip the situation and say, oh, if she believed these things and she got stressed out, and when we went to an early thing, like, she's not just stressed out because this woman on this stage is telling her this. That stress is not just for that reason. The stress would be more so is because she knows these things is true. You've been lying to her, and now she actually has to deal with it. And that's the thing. I give Charlie that grace right now because she is pregnant and she don't want to have to make a real decision on, do I leave you because of this? But I'm pretty sure there was been a lot that was said when they went home after that show, after the reunion, about these messages that she didn't know about, because he erased half of the messages. And then you're going to sit there and be like, oh, she's seen the text messages. She's seen the DMs, but which DMs did she see? Did she see all of them? Or she seen the ones you wanted to show her? Like, it's a difference. Omission is a cousin to lying, so you're not that far off. So to sit here and try to play like Milan was doing too much or whatnot, that's not the case. No, Otis, you were doing too much because you are the one in the relationship. You're the one in control of that. And most of the DMs was you initiating the conversation with somebody that you claim is so boring. If you're boring in person, oh my God, I can't believe how your text message is about to be for me. And like you said, Sean, playing to the camera, you don't want to have much conversation on the camera, but you'll text her. You don't want the camera to pick up all these negative things that you're doing in real life. But you'll probably lay up next to your woman DMing this lady. You're DMing her in the morning. You're DMing her at night, telling her to come by your place. Why? She knows your every move. She knows when you're on set, you're off set, you're eating that lunch. Why does she have this much information about you? But Charlie, you've seen all of that? And you want to keep saying you're okay with it? Like, your face could not lie in this moment. Like, every time either he said a lie, there's two things she would do. She would either laugh down like this, or her cheeks would squinch up and she would press her lips. And then that's when she give that direct look to him to kind of like look away from the camera. But the direct look at him was like, brush, you're full of it. You blowing both our cover right now. Shut up. So it's just like, I can't save you. Like, you don't want to be saved right now. You don't want out of this relationship. And I get it, because facing the truth really means that you got to do something. And my mom used to always have this saying, she's like, don't go looking for nothing you're not ready to move on. So Milan did her a disservice by bringing the information, because now it's like, girl, on national TV, now I got to really do something. I already been in your DMs. Y'all don't want to address that part. You went to the girl's DMs, but she born, she this. But if you wasn't so concerned about her, you wasn't so worried about it, why did you go into her DMs and address her about if he texted her or not? Why did you ask her? Because he's not her type, right? She's boring, right? She's too young, right? So why is she a concern for me to even ask? Has my man been DMing you? If she's not a threat, I don't have no reason to ask that question. I don't need to worry about it. And if you're not ready to actually move on the situation, why go ask that question? All you're doing is getting your feelings hurt, and you're sitting now in distrust in a relationship. I don't know. I want to kind of fault Otis a lot in this, but the way she was caping for him so much, it's just hard to just give him all the blame in this. Because it's like, Charlie, what's your agenda? Like, I just let him hang himself, so when I have this baby, it make it easier for me to just have a reason to move on. But that's why I say I don't feel like she's going to actually go anywhere. Not, at least not right now.
Sean, what's your thoughts?
I think they're probably in their own little version of an entanglement. So I think they have their own little rules that they're writing, and whatever they've decided to do to make their relationship work is what they're gonna go for. And then they just, they're going through the point now where they want to sell the story. That's what I see. I think they both have this is the relationship that they both want. Because if somebody wanted something different, either there would be no interview, there wouldn't be all this other backlash, or I'm going on this channel, but I'm not going on that channel, and all of this other stuff. Either we're going to interview, we're going to tell our story, and we're just going to, whatever, or they're not going to do any interviews. But to be selective and, then try to spin a story just gives me that they're trying to sell a narrative. They're trying to tell us that a narrative is being drawn by the network and by the show, but I think they're trying to spin a narrative. That's what I see. Their little outfits, they got all dressed up and gussied up, looking all nice. They're selling a story. But the truth will come out. We see these people in entanglements. It falls apart. May not be tomorrow, may not be today. And either they're going to choose to just walk in honesty and, really work on their relationship, or they're going to choose to not be together, or one or the other is just going to be fed up. Whatever it's going to be, something's going to happen. It's not going to stay this way forever.
Hear that still. Go for it, Jay.
Yeah, I like, Sean, how you brought up that they choose in these interviews and all this stuff. So there was supposed to be a legal aspect to it. Like she even wrote it on her thing legally and by her people that she can't be talking about certain things, but you choose to go on this interview. And I don't think you missed any talking points. You talked about everything. You talked about it the way you wanted to talk about it, but you talked about every single thing. The Milan situation is supposed to be a legal aspect. So why were we still having a whole full-on conversation about it? That should have been we can't speak about that right now because we got some things going on that. So how did we get to confessing all of these details about Milan and what was going on? But it's a legal aspect why you can't have interviews with certain people or anybody else, or even prior to this interview, you couldn't do any interviews. I'm just trying to make it make sense. I'm hoping that y'all in the chat can help me understand. I'm throwing some things out there, but if y'all understand legal things a little bit better than I do, because I only worked in law and family law, so it's a little different. I can't tell y'all entertainment law like that. Maybe I'm missing something. Because from my understanding, you can't do interviews, you can't do this legally, but you went on this platform, and I'm not saying nothing against Crystal because I know that she gets the exclusives from the show, but legally, you're talking about all of the things that you can't talk about because of legal issues. which is basically this whole situation with Milan. And y'all spent a good about, 15, 20 minutes of the interview on that? I don't know. Sean, maybe you could help me out on it. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we need Seaway. Maybe we need our resident attorney, our in-house counsel, because I don't see a legal matter at hand unless they sent Milan some type of cease and desist, right? So unless they sent her a cease and desist to stop talking about them, yeah, that's the only thing I could think that could be a legal issue.
Yeah, we need Seaway then, so I can talk about you, but I can silence you with a cease and desist. I don't know how cease and desist works, so I ain't got my first one yet. So I don't know.
No, but I definitely hear you about the legal aspect. Yeah, I'm not sure how that got to that point, whether it was just an empty threat or what. But yeah, that just seemed a bit too much for what happened, because Milan was just telling her truth. I don't think she ever slandered or lied. It was just that it didn't line up with the way that you presented yourself. So it was just another one of those things again where you're like, what's going on here? Why are we behaving like this? Like, do you know what I mean? Why are we posting up a story and saying legals are going to get involved? And it's like almost you're trying to scare somebody into not allowing Milan to be on their platform, or, scaring the truth getting out in its true entirety. But baby, it's already out. It's out already in the open. You can't stop it. It's gone.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the internet. It's done. It's gone.
Was it just weird when he said that if Charlita went into early pregnancy at the reunion, he was gonna go off for producers, and I just got the vision of him trying to swing on everybody. It made me laugh in my head. I was like, "Come on, bro, you not? What was you gonna do? What was you gonna do?" Because pregnancies sometimes happen, and she's 7 months. So it's not far-fetched that you can go into early pregnancy at that time. Any earlier than that, I can say an issue, but I've had friends, like I played basketball up until a certain point. My best friend played basketball up until 8 months. So women is out here running track, swimming, and doing everything. Girl, Beyonce on stage in her heels and all. Cardi B over here doing splits. What are you talking about right now? Stress. Stress.
Well, again, I mean, I think, like, listen, I've been in those situations. Everybody's different, so we don't know the complexity of her pregnancy. But I would say I think those things are more like distractions to distract us from the truth, because it could happen and it sounds triggering, right? So I think, like, don't even put that in the atmosphere. Right? Unless she's being medically treated, some women go, get pregnant and they go on bed rest for months, right? So it does happen. But I think, like, unless it's your reality, don't put that out there, right? If that's not the truth for you, and your woman, don't put that out there, because then it just becomes a way to keep us from talking about the story and getting to the bottom of what really happened. So, and I think that's all that he was trying to do in that moment. It's just distract us from getting to the nitty gritty of it all.
Mm-hmm. So did you also hear him say in that moment again, like he said at the reunion, when Crystal brought up the text, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we don't need to talk about them texts anymore." Like, why are you keeping so quick to dismiss them?
Just like Dr. Nicole's advice, it's if it's hitting too close, then he's gonna find it faulty. If there's something that kind of seems like it's touching on him being accountable, because even when Crystal asked him, what could you be accountable for, it was crickets. It was another deflection.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that indeed, bro. I agree that as well, man. There was a lot of deflection in that respect. I just think with Otis, for him, it's about control and just having power over the dynamics between himself and old girl. You know, I know he does a tit for tat situation, and they kind of went through that, but I think most of it is it's for him. It's control. It's just being able to control the dynamics and how things go in different ways. You know what I'm saying? And so this show kind of exposed him greater than he probably thought he would be exposed, and shown that the audience would have an opinion of him. So although he says he doesn't care what people think, he does care. You know what I mean? It does affect him. It affects all of us. Like, let's not pretend. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at Otis and Charlie. I'm like, yo, I actually hope that you guys can fix up on some of these things, issues, before any further, because like Jay said at the very beginning, coming back to that same point, kid's going to suffer, man. He's going to suffer. If both of you are bitter and angry, he's going to suffer. All right, listen, let's get your final points out, because I don't want to go over the hour mark. We'll keep it short and sweet. We all got work in the morning. For once, I got work in the morning. Yeah, for once in my life. Sean, you say you got work tomorrow, Sean?
No, I don't. Juneteenth. Well, tomorrow's Sunday.
I do. Yeah.
Juneteenth, so I'm off Monday too. So I'm living.
Don't worry.
You are living large.
Kojo, I got work, so you don't have to suck your teeth for us all.
Well, listen, I'm not taking trips to Greece and working from the beach and doing all these lavish things, spending a month in Ghana. I can't do that, right?
John said, I get my one day. Let me be.
You can, bro. You can. Let me have Juneteenth. Let me have my Juneteenth long weekend, bro.
I got you. Got you.
Look, I can't even have Juneteenth because it's Father's Day, so I gotta go over here and make the days for the fathers. Like, man,
you can have it, bro. You can
Daddy
have
was
it.
ruining my day. No,
Do what you want to do.
You up,
do what you want to do. Do what you
Mhm.
want to do. But yeah, no, it's I definitely hear what you guys are saying, and you guys have made some great points as well around this. Let me, Jay, do you have any final thoughts before I let Sean wrap up?
No, I just, I know time is ticking for them and this baby coming, so I don't expect changes right away. But as the baby is going through its pressure stages of absorbing everything that's around them and learning, I do hope that they do take the time to learn better ways of dealing and communicating with each other, and really get on the same page, because they weren't in this interview. And so I really do just hope that they can get it together for the baby's sake. So
For Sean, and you can do your
benediction
right there.
So what I would say is the story that we all should be worried about is not the story that we tell other people or that other people tell about us, but the story that we tell ourselves, right? Because we, at the very least, should be honest with ourselves. And that honesty that we have with ourselves will then be reflected back on the honesty that we have with other people. So let's be honest. Let's be truthful, because it's easier to tell the truth than it is to tell a lie, because you have to keep up with all the lies. So please be honest. For Charlie and Otis, we wish you well. This is in love. This is what we see. If we're wrong, we're willing to be wrong. But we wish the best for you. We wish for accountability for you. For your new unborn child, we only want the best. Please be the best parents you can be. Children are fragile. Children are delicate. So please do your best to bring that child into a loving, healthy, happy environment where the two of you love each other, because then they will mirror that. They will mirror what they see. You may tell them one thing, but they will mirror what they see and what they experience. So that's my assessment. That's my benediction. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day for all the dads out there. And I turn it back to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate that. You know what? I thought we had done with Put a Ring in last week, but it looks like we're back on it. Obviously, there are some more interviews lined up. So I do have Shay lined up, and hopefully I'll have Alfonso as well lined up for you guys as well. And I'm working on the Kenneth one. So hopefully we can get Kenneth when I come back from the holiday next week as well. So yeah, we're trying to get that lined up for you guys.
Is that why you working so hard so you could pay Kenneth? Don't play with me. No.
Well, girl, I ain't paying for nothing. Boy, he gonna pay for himself at this rate. You know what I mean? So yeah, I trying to line it up. So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And potentially may have another special one as well along the way with another show. So we'll see what we can do. You know, but yeah, listen. We're putting the work in for you guys. But listen, if you haven't already done so, guys, make sure you join the new YouTube Dark Arts 91. We haven't released any content. It'll be at the end of the month when I come back from a holiday. We'll start having videos there as well for you guys. And yeah, we're gonna start breaking down some real stuff, have some interviews with people as well, have real conversations. I mean, if you have cheated before, you need to get in contact with me. If you've played games before, you need to get in contact with me. If you've got the manipulative gene in your streak, like an X-Man, you need to be in contact with me. Yeah, it's good that you went off the camera. Okay, if you've got any of those things in your blood, you need to be messaging me. Okay, because you know what? That's what our channel is going to be all about. It's going to be about all the games that people have played in the past. And hopefully what's going to happen is it'll be a lovely section where people can actually learn, because these are the things you have to protect yourself with. Because a lot of times we talk to people and you're like, you don't know that? You didn't know that was a game? You didn't know that was someone playing with you? You didn't know someone that you didn't know that this one is breaking your boundaries or et cetera. You know, we had Shorty on here in an interview and I'm looking at Shorty like, how you not know that, you know, this is madness before it's happened. Like, you know what I mean? And there are things like that people go through that they don't realize. So yeah, we want to be able to create that kind of content specifically on that channel for you guys, you know, and that means ladies too, we're exposing your game as well. Yes, you thought you were you thought it was just gonna be the men. Oh no, we're gonna expose your game all the way through. So all the little manipulations that you like doing, that you say you don't like to tell us men what you do, we're going to expose the whole thing. Okay, both men and women. All right. We appreciate you guys. You know, dual accountability round here. You get me? But listen, Jay, thank you again. Sean, thank you once more. I really do appreciate you guys as well. And audience members, if you haven't already signed up to the channel, make sure you do sub. We can't wait to reach that great content for you. But until now, listen. Until then, listen. We'll see you again very, very soon. You get me? It's been amazing. Thank you very much, Pod 51 Walker. We appreciate you, man. Listen, it's good to have you guys in. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate you. Enjoy June. What do you call it? Juneteenth. Is that how you pronounce it? Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yes.
Juneteenth. Okay, man. Listen, you guys enjoy your Juneteenth. The rest of us is normal 19th of the month. Okay, all right. Payday soon. Payday soon. I appreciate you guys. Say a lot to say loaded.